I'll let you know what it's. I'm gonna eat some gummy worms, some sour gummy worms. And
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
No.
What did he say that to Sam? And he'd just be like, "I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye."
Maybe.
All right,
we're live, dude.
up.
Go for it.
We're live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome to the first episode of 2022. Starting off with a bang with Sir Cody. We are reviewing Spider-Man: No Way Home.
We are.
If you watched the award show, you would have seen that we included Spider-Man: No Way Home in the award show, and that's because Spider-Man came out in 2021, but due to the timing of everything of when I could go see it and things like that, we decided to discuss a little bit about where it should go, but we didn't actually share any of our feelings about the movie. But we just thought it should be included in the 2021 award show. But it will be in our 2022 rankings, which we have provided fabulously right under Cody's face.
It's gonna grow. I'll make it a little fancier.
Yeah, it'll grow out, and we'll see past movies that we reviewed and how they stack up. And it's just a good reference for when we're reviewing movies. But without further ado, let's go into probably the best movie to come out in 2021, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
You
Cody, take it away.
Okay, first of all, saying best movie, comparing it to a lot of other things we've seen this year, that's some high praise you got there. What are we gonna say first? Let's talk about the. I think there's something that is very pertinent when it comes to this movie. Let's talk about it right away. I want to start not with the plot, not with the characters. I want to talk about the quality of the CGI. Because it's been a while since I've seen it now. I've watched a lot of clips on YouTube. The illegal theater clips, rewatching my favorite moments.
Yep.
And now that it's been a long time since I saw it and like the nostalgia's faded, I can be honest in saying that, I think I'm seeing the same CGI problems in this movie that we had with Black Widow. I don't think it ruins it at all, but it's like, there's like some moments that, okay, full spoiler warnings. Here's a few moments where it's very noticeable. When Andrew jumps through into the room, when Andrew Garfield appears, he has no neck. Okay, it's all. And the weirdest thing is,
he doesn't have a neck.
Yeah, if you look up the shots, he's very buff and he has very little neck, and it's because it's completely CGI Andrew. So everyone's like, why is he CGI? If all he's doing is jumping from one place to another, why is he in his suit, which they have on set, CGI? So it's probably that's the biggest one. Just curious on your thoughts on the CGI in this movie.
I'm trying to. I want to find the reference shot. I think I found what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they. By the way,
I don't. Well, I can't find. You'll have to show me.
So yeah, I'll show you. But it's very noticeable if you put it side by side. It's really weird that his Spider-Man 2 movie has better CGI than this. I don't know if it's because of like budgeting, rushing it. I'm not sure. But his suit looks way better, even in CGI shots in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, than it does in this movie. And like you can see it clearly in his lenses. They don't reflect light in this movie; they're just white. But in the other movies, they're very real. So like I see a lot of people upset that they went with CGI suits in shots that could have clearly been practical. And what's funny about that shot, I feel like a lot of people have seen this now. While the movie was still in theaters, they have changed that shot. So he appears differently now. It's still the same thing, him jumping through that corner of the room, but they changed the angle, and they actually made him a little taller, so you can actually see more of his neck, and he's not as oddly muscular. But
when I first saw him, maybe they changed it between the time that you saw it and the time that I saw it.
You probably got the new one, but even the new one is weird because if you pay attention, his arm completely goes through the bookshelf he's next to. Like they basically fixed one thing and made another huge mistake. So
Because when I was watching it, well, first I thought it looked odd anyway.
yeah, that's
Like, because just the setting that he was in, it was a high contrast setting compared to what the house was.
yeah.
And I also thought the perspective was weird because it looked like we were sort of looking at him. Like, I don't know. I almost didn't even recognize that that was his Spider-Man when he turned around,
I
just because I thought that whole scene was a little odd.
I recognized him,
Um,
but the weird thing was just like I was like, why did they make his suit CGI for that shot? It could have they had his actual suit on set. They could have just made him run in a direction on a green screen and made it practical. I don't know why they went with the harder route that
well,
didn't look as realistic.
couldn't they literally just take a green screen, like cut a hole and then wrap it in a green screen and then put a green, like just everything is a
Yeah,
green screen,
no,
just in there, and he can just run forward on the.
if
I mean,
you
we don't know CGI, but like, I mean,
if you look at how good his suit looks in Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the final fight with Electro, it's so weird how mushy his suit looks in this one. So that was, I don't think that impacts the story. It's definitely noticeable though, but
yeah.
that was just my that was probably I want to get that big complaint out of the way now. I feel like with the amount of hype this movie was getting and they knew it, that they would put a lot of budget on that. Or at least
I think people were probably clouded by the fact that it was crossover, like
Yeah.
they really enjoyed seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and stuff, so
Oh yeah, it didn't
they were
diminish
sort of
that.
clouded by the fact that they were, it was the CGI probably slacked a bit.
That's why like I didn't really care until like, a week or two after and I was rewatching. I'm like, you know, you're right. All that stuff kind of made you forget about it for the most part. Other than
Yeah, 'cause
that,
when I was watching it, like I just didn't really think about the CGI. Like there was some stuff that I was kind of like, like it,
yeah.
like, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the story, what they were talking about, and like just being in the moment. I think we don't have to do like a second watch through to really pick it, but like definitely this is like in the moment we watched this and this is how we felt.
Oh yeah, it was great. The best part was going. I don't know if your theater was like this, but mine was like clapping and screaming when stuff happened, and I always loved that for Marvel movies.
Dude, you know what? My theater looked like it was booked, but there was really nobody there.
Huh.
I ended up sitting next to a family and their kids were kind of being whatever.
Well, it might have been because of the whole new COVID thing we're going through. Maybe the theater was a bit not as packed as it had planned to be.
But it was a fairly quiet theater, which I don't mind a quiet theater. I also don't mind like the Marvel ones, but like I haven't had that experience of like people like woo, like they get all excited about something.
What about you didn't get an early showing of like Endgame or something or Infinity War?
No, I never been to the early showings for the fact that they're packed.
Yeah, it was
especially
for Infinity War and Endgame. Those were insane. I mean, you can hear the theater screaming from outside. But
that's great. Yeah,
it's like
never.
You can see it. Some people will be like, it ruins the movie. I can't hear what they're saying. But like for the most part, it's like a fun community thing. You can see it again in a quiet nighttime showing if you're really that into it. If you're going early, you gotta expect if it's like a big blockbuster, you gotta expect the crowd that's loud and it's awesome.
I mean, normally when my thinking is like I want to go see this. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that I watch movies, but. Yeah. Well, I mean, for the most part, I think for Doctor Strange's CGI, like I did pay attention to that.
Oh, those were all good. I didn't see nothing stood out to me for that. Well, it's been a while too, but
yeah, the things that they've been doing they should have the stuff for Doctor Strange like in a thumb drive. Basically, like it's all the same stuff. Like it's all the same effects. I don't see why they have to.
It looks good though.
Continuously make new ones of that. But yeah, it looked good. So let's go and talk about.
Well, you can say the same thing about like Spider-Man's webs or Iron Man's weapons. They're the same.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But what
Um,
were you
let's get into the nitty gritty of the story and sort of what we thought. Obviously, it's a movie that is nostalgic for us personally. So talk about your experience with the story and the movie for you.
um let's see. I like the story a lot. I think it was interesting. I you know, I the ending is what really brought it all together for me. Like I like the idea of Peter's like we got to make everyone forget. I think it was an interesting plot idea. Um you know, even you know, it's simpler than it seems, the plot. There's really not a lot to it besides like, you know, make everyone forget. We accidentally brought everyone here who actually didn't forget, you know what I mean? Or who does know who Peter is.
Right.
Actually, it's the villains that are really, I feel like, the best part of this movie. Doc Ock was amazing.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite villain in this? Doc. I'm gonna guess it's gonna have to be between Doc and Green Goblin.
Well, growing up, like whenever I would watch Green Goblin and those movies with those villains,
Yeah.
Green Goblin always scared me as a kid.
Yeah, he was
like
really
he would
cool.
always have those like scary scenes. Um, but I liked the arc of Doctor Octopus. Like,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was really well done. I thought he had a great balance between um the comedic and the serious, and just seeing him like even in their first fight when they run into each other, it's just like more of like a they're confused and like he's just fighting, and I just thought it was a good dynamic.
No, yeah, it was really cool. I also loved when they were all talking about who died, and you know, it gets all really dark, and when Doc Ock's in the cell and he's like, "You're going out there to fight ghosts." It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so what did you? I'm assuming you probably think Green Goblin is. I'm gonna assume that's your favorite, but tell me about.
I liked them all a lot. I think, you know, that scene where Peter sees Doc Ock for the first time, you know, and not Peter, Peter, Toby, when Toby Maguire and him interact for the first time again, and he's like holding the arc reactor, and he's like the power of the sun, and Toby goes in the palm of your hand, like the second Spider-Man movie,
Yeah.
and then how he's like, "How have you been?" and Toby says, "Trying to do better," and that's the first thing he ever said to him when they met in Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things like that. Like Green Goblin, when he comes back in the final fight and he throws the grenades, right before that, when they showed Toby like his same face when he gets the phone call in the first movie, you hear Goblin goes, "Can the Spider-Man come out to play?" That's what he said to him on the phone in the first Spider-Man movie.
Are these all things you knew prior to this, or did you
The
figure it out afterwards?
Doc Ock one I knew. I totally forgot about the phone call with the first one, because me and a bunch of my coworkers have been like talking about and rewatching all the other Spider-Man movies before this, so it was like a really awesome build up.
I feel like it warrants a rewatch.
Oh yeah, there's a
But-
lot of hidden things.
Yeah, like there's a lot to. I mean, I don't remember the other Spider-Mans like to a T. So like a lot of this stuff you're mentioning just kind of goes over my head, but
See those little things.
I
I was
kind
like,
of found Sandman was sort of just like there.
well, the actor wasn't
know?
actually there either.
What do you mean? Like he wasn't?
The actor wasn't on set.
So then how did they?
They didn't show him. The only thing they showed at the end of the movie when he like goes back to being normal, that's a shot directly out of Spider-Man 3.
What happened to him?
They didn't have him on set. They only had him for voice lines, I think.
But why not just have him?
I don't know. I don't know the reason. But if you look at Spider-Man 3 and compare it to that shot at the end, it's the same exact thing. When he like gets when Tobey Spider-Man pours like water on him and he starts dissolving, they just changed that shot to make it him going back to normal.
What? Hold on, I gotta. That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know the reason. I never checked.
Hold on, maybe we can get something off of Reddit here. Yeah, so there's somebody saying they reused shots from Spidey 3 for his human scene. Same with Lizard.
Mm.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But like, even though his character, like in that movie, he just seemed very nonchalant. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna be here, Like it was, he didn't like, and then basically when Goblin goes rogue, like he just leaves. Like he wasn't bad to begin with. Like I think Sandman, he's just confused.
Well, no, yeah, in the third Spider-Man, he became good at the end. Like he wasn't bad. He was just trying to do right by his daughter.
Yeah. Even somebody on Reddit's saying like Sandman and Lizard are both pretty bleh.
Yeah, no, they are.
And Sandman's motives were weird, and they didn't really explain that. Like it definitely became, they're just. I think they should have just did Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro.
I don't know. I like Sandman.
Does that cover all the movies? Because Electro's, and then I guess like Lizard was all right.
Yeah, Lizard's cool. I like Lizard, and like, he was awesome in the.
But
like, he was amazing.
Like, what were they trying to accomplish with that? Like, so they had.
Well, they were just trying to go home.
Like they had three from Tobey's movies, and 2 from Andrew's.
Yeah, because that's how many movies they had. They had.
But they could have brought Rhino in there.
Yeah, that would have been a mess. I don't know how they would have done it. Because in Andrews, he's not like genetically a rhino. It's just a suit.
Yeah.
Just an angry guy in a suit.
What if they had Rhino, like he gets into the universe and then he finds Stark technology and he makes the micro Rhino suit and it like forms to his body. Like,
no.
So you go write it down.
You know, I found. What do you think about MJ's performance, Zendaya?
I think Zendaya is a great actress, but lately her roles have been very monotone.
Exactly. MJ was so like, "Hi, how are you? Yeah,
like,
all right, Peter, let's go."
And even her in Dune.
I know, like, in Dune, we saw the same thing.
We saw her for like, I don't know what, a collective of 5 minutes in Dune.
Yeah.
And even then, like, she didn't say much. She was very monotone. It was exactly. A bland performance. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with MJ, like for Tobey, or not for Tobey, for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but
it's weird because the last time we saw a love interest in Spider-Man was Gwen Stacy, and she was so fun and crazy and goofy, and she was an interesting character, always getting in trouble by accident, and now it's just like, "Hi, how are you? Hi."
Yeah, she doesn't really do much. Like, she's just like there because of Tom Holland. Like,
yeah, and it's like you see how like you see her like that, and you're like, I don't see the connection here. People were telling me before I saw this, people were saying, like, when you see this movie, if you also didn't see the connection between the 2 characters in the first 2 of his Spider-Man movies, the third one would convince you. And it did a little bit. It definitely did, but...
Yeah. It's also, like, yeah, so this is sort of the first movie where we actually see Tom Holland, like, forming Spider-Man. Like, I saw a lot of things where people were saying, oh, he's, like, finally struggling. Like, but he's struggling, definitely. Like, he's, like, struggling with a lot. Like, they're like, okay, he's grieving Tony Stark as sort of, like, his Uncle Ben. But then they flipped the script and were like, nope, we're actually going to, spoiler, kill off Aunt May. And that sort of becomes his Uncle Ben moment, like that's.
Yeah, I don't think Tony was his Uncle Ben moment. Well, I mean, because I had the same problem with Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. Was like, I watched a lot of videos on this, and like the reason Tobey's are so good is because he actually has like he has nobody. Anyone he like if he has to choose between Spider-Man and having people. He lives alone in an apartment. If he chooses having Peter life, people die. If he chooses Spider-Man, his loved ones like kind of forget about him, right? And there's like a lot of weight. But my problem with Homecoming and Far From Home, where they were kind of like laughy, goofy MCU Spider-Man, like Tony, like he doesn't have the Uncle Ben yet. He doesn't need to make a suit anymore. He gets tech gifted to him every day. So he had no responsibility. So I feel like that's what I like about this one, is it kind of like finally, I mean, it took 3 movies to do it, but it feels like we're actually going to get his next 3 movies will actually be like grounded, like Spider-Man, a police scanner in an apartment with a suit he made with a sewing machine. Like,
which this could probably be the beginning of the more traditional Spider-Man that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, which I hope.
But like we're also getting more in depth. Like, it used to follow the formula like 1, 2, 3, and then maybe Andrew will get another shot.
Hopefully,
at another Spider-Man. But there's a lot of hints that were dropped in terms of the Venom stuff and things like that. Which I still have to watch Venom. I have not watched it. And I have to watch Carnage. So I have to take the time to watch both of those. But end credit scene, they talked about the Venom stuff. But now we're going to start seeing more of, like, I guess, the Spider-Man we're used to.
Yeah.
But now they're also coming out with the next wave of Avengers too.
Yeah,
like now a lot of stuff is coming out. So we'll have to see where this all goes.
It's too much. My head, it's too much.
So I want to. A lot of people think Andrew Garfield stole the show. Well, a lot of people say he stole the show.
I think that too. He was incredible he did some incredible acting.
I really like Doctor Strange.
He's barely in it. He's barely in it.
I just like when he was in it.
No, yeah, he's great. Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing.
He was the center of attention in the movie. Like, whenever he was on the screen, he was just the center. Like, he was doing something that you just had to pay attention to every time. Like,
there's a little bit Doctor Strange bias coming out here. He's an amazing. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch is perfectly casted for that role. There's no one else who would be better at it than Benedict Cumberbatch.
I just like his character is just so good, and it's nice to see him sort of like interacting just like more casually, I guess. Like, you just sort of see more of his knowledge. What kind of bothered me is Ned.
Annoying?
Like Ned with the ring, and like he just can suddenly go like, oh, like I'm just gonna start making the circle, and then boom, like he just has the ability to do that.
Well, I think it was kind of setting up Ned to be. I thought it was setting up Ned to be more important, but then we're like, forget about him, literally.
Like he can only open it. It took Doctor Strange forever to be able to like wield those powers.
Yeah, but he didn't understand
Ned just picks up the ring, and like all of a sudden he can just start doing it.
Yeah, but okay, 2 things. First of all, Doctor Strange had a lot of reasons for why he couldn't do it at first. He was like spoiled. He didn't actually believe it was real. His hands were broken. I mean, there were so many things leading to why Doctor Strange took a long time. But Ned was kind of like, it didn't work at first. He had to keep trying. But then even Doctor Strange was like, nice job, kid. Like, I see potential.
Maybe I'm just jealous because I want to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I just want to be like, out of all the powers I could have,
you'd be Doctor Strange.
I want Doctor Strange's powers.
Really, I would.
Because it's not something that is.
I would probably have an Iron Man suit plugged in and charging in my room.
Like your superpower, just a
Iron Man suit. Yeah, I'd be the mechanic.
You can have that right now. You can have it right now.
I'd be the mechanic, man. And I'd have the briefcase suit too for when I go places.
Imagine, but you know how heavy that is?
No. Lightweight. You saw him carrying it in the movie.
So back to the CGI thing. This was something that I just absolutely love about Doctor Strange as well. And every time that I see either his movie or just when he's doing his like magic,
Hmm.
the train scene, I love when they go into that like 3D dimension with like the glass
Yeah.
and like everything just like gets inverted. Love that. Like all those, I think they spent the most money on those shots. I think that's why a lot of the like Andrew's suit
Yeah, you
looks
can
bad and
tell.
things like
Yeah.
that because like they spent so much money just working on Doctor Strange's shots that like that train scene looked really good.
Hmm.
All that stuff looked really good. And that's I think where a lot of the focus went, which is why they kind of probably like
Probably.
But if that was the case, then they should have just used
And it was weird because I mean
the
I don't
real
think this
estate.
is weird, but like also Doc Ock's arms were also CGI,
Yeah, they were.
and they were practical in Toby's movies.
So the budget, I have the budget
Yeah,
estimated
let's hear this.
200 million.
That's a lot, right?
I don't know. What is a lot for a movie budget?
Well, no, just look up another Marvel. Just go look up Far From Home. Look up Far From Home. That had some crazy.
So movie budgets can average 100 million for a big budget film.
Look up Far From Home. That had really crazy water effects.
That was 160 million.
Okay.
So they had 40 million more. And those water effects are pretty good.
In
Yeah.
Far From Home, those were insane.
Far From
Yeah,
Home.
I saw the program they used to make that.
That one was pretty good. But they had 40 million more, and that's I don't know. Maybe they spent it all on the train scene.
Yeah.
Maybe they spent it all on Matt Murdock trying to get him to look blind.
That was so like I went with a friend. We both lost it when he appeared, and like some people in the theater did, but then the rest were like, "Huh, who's this guy?" Like, but it was like, oh my, because he's
dude.
he's one of my favorite comic book characters,
He's so
and
good.
the guy who plays him,
Charlie Cox.
yeah, no one like he is perfectly
So
casted.
precise.
Yeah,
He's so precise.
so perfectly
Like
casted
he
for
just
that role.
nails that.
Yeah,
And now I feel like, so what? There's a Daredevil movie, which is horribly made, I think.
that's with
But I've seen the TV show, which is really good.
Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah.
that first season's amazing.
The whole season, all the seasons are great.
Yeah,
And now they're slowly mingling everything together. So Hawkeye, they mentioned Kingpin, and they're sort of slowly bringing all the stuff together. I just like really want to see Daredevil like on a movie screen. I want to see that because
yeah.
he's
They
just
said
so
he's
good.
going to be getting a big power boost, and he's apparently supposed to appear in She-Hulk.
Interesting.
Yeah, they said he's going to be a little bit more powerful than in Netflix.
But like his what are I mean I don't his. Hold on.
No, I meant like he's not. He doesn't have powers besides
No.
his senses. But I think they mean like, I mean look at Falcon. He doesn't have super soldier serum, but he does some pretty crazy punches. You know what I mean? Like, he's not getting a boost, but they mean for the big screen, he's going to be dealing a little bit more damage. You know what I'm saying?
They say
'Cause-
that he has superhuman senses, echolocative
Yeah.
radar sense.
Yeah. But they're not saying he's going to get a superpower in the Marvel universe. He's saying that, Netflix is really brutal. Like, he gets beaten up too. I think they're going to be straying away from how brutal he is in the Netflix show, which sucks.
No, but I like that.
I know. That's why I liked Netflix having its own Marvel thing, because they can do what they wanted. They can keep it like Jessica Jones was so good, and they kept all those shows really gritty, really good. And like those hallway
yeah,
fight
'cause-
scenes with him, and he's getting beaten up just as much as he's falling over them and then throwing a random punch.
It's
love
yeah,
those.
it's more true to life.
Yeah,
Whereas like some of this other stuff, you can sort of get lost in like the fictional
Yeah.
side of it. Okay, so we mentioned Andrew Garfield. Let's just talk about Toby and Andrew and their performances and what we thought of them, because obviously that was the big hype around this whole movie.
Two things right away. I'll start off with Andrew. Is his scene where he talks about losing Gwen hit the emotion on Andrew Garfield's face. I actually recently watched parts of The Social Network with Andrew Garfield. You know that movie?
What?
The Social Network with Andrew Garfield. It's about
Yes.
it's about Facebook.
Yeah.
No, he won an award for that other. He did another movie on Netflix recently about a look up.
Tick 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 boom.
Was it about the
John Larson.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I watched that. I love that movie.
yeah, so apparently he's winning a lot of awards. Amazing actor, and you can really see it with his emotions that he's showing on screen when he's talking about Gwen. And then that moment when he catches MJ, and he asks her if she's okay and all that. That was just that was emotional. That was probably the most emotional moment in the movie for me. That was really good.
Yeah, because Tom Holland fumbles it.
Yeah, and like that was a redemption moment for Andrew.
Yeah.
And so like you finally get like the ending. Like if we don't get another Spider-Man for him, it's a good ending
It's
to his.
a good way to close off.
Yeah, and like have his character finally forgive himself.
But I think if people really want another, people want another like the third Spider-Man movie. I think they should. Why would they not do it? I think
at this point,
it's an easy money grab for them. It would kill in the box office, I think.
I think it would too. Because I think the way they're setting it up, hopefully, I was hoping that Andrew Garfield's would be the one that gets Venom. Because if you look at like where Morbius is and all that, they look really dark and gritty, and it looks like Andrew Garfield's world.
Yeah.
I'd also like to. I mean, like we can do with more. Also like to see another Toby one where he's like, getting married to MJ soon, and like something crazy is going on around the wedding, and she's like, you're always focused on your Spider-Man stuff, not me. Like, something. No, they were both really good. I like. That's the one thing I will like. I don't think the first half of this movie probably won't see again, but I will probably. Just when it's out on Blu-ray, I'll just for random funsies look on YouTube and watch all the clips with the three of them together.
I agree that the first half of this movie was a little slow.
Yeah, and it was not to say it wasn't good, but like after that third act, the rest of it was just like, huh? Oh yeah, that happened too.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. So. I mean, all really good. It's a really good Spider-Man. Definitely the best of Tom Holland's, but I wasn't fond of the first two. So,
what do you think of Tobey's performance?
After 20 years of not playing the character, I think it was really cool. Watching interviews, he was really enthusiastic. Seeing my favorite thing was that conversation they had. Well, okay, the lab scene was really funny, but also when they're just talking about like the biggest villains they fought, and there's like the crack in the back thing, because I don't know if you know about the my back reference. You know what that means?
No.
So that moment where he's like, it's my back from all the swinging, I guess. Remember that?
Yeah.
That has two things behind it. Because one, he actually did hurt his back in the second Spider-Man movie. When he's like running and he's like, I'm back, and then he falls and he's like, my back. But it's also, that's not it. It's also a huge reference because it was either the third Spider-Man movie or for a fourth one, he did not come back because of a back injury on another film, and they wanted him to do all his stunts. And so there was this, if you literally during the time of production for Tobey's movies, it was like big news that because of his back injuries he wasn't doing another Spider-Man, or he didn't want to come back to do another Spider-Man. So it was kind of like a double reference, which was really funny.
Speaking of doing their own stunts, Willem Dafoe
did all of his own stunts. Yeah, I know. It was crazy.
Dude, we said he was 65, right? Like when we were speaking about it?
Yeah, it was like
that is crazy.
Yeah, because he said it was the only way to add depth to his character. He didn't want to be a cameo. He wanted to be a full because if you watch interviews with William Dafoe, he's really big on, he's not there to like make money. His main goal is to like, and this is quoting him, to like bring the director's vision or art to life. And he didn't see a point in doing the character again unless it actually brought something to that character. So he's like, unless it adds something new to my character, I'm not interested. And so he's like, I'm not doing a cameo. This has to be a full role.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
That he did his own. Like,
Yeah, he's dedicated.
He nailed that role.
I know.
Like, just returning and bringing the whole character back. Like, it's like he never, like, left.
Dude, all character. His lines. Like, he's, like, strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. And then he, like, slams him.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
He was the scariest. You know, there's this, I see a meme where he's punching him, you know, and he's just smiling and laughing. And people were like, that's the moment he realized, like, Green Goblin was more dangerous than Thanos. like,
but how can he take that many punches like that?
Well, he has a serum, too. That's the thing. He was, because I think in the...
it's coming back. Yeah, he was messing around with all that stuff.
Yeah, because he was trying to get the same product. Spider-Man was doing a thing.
Same product.
Like the same...
Hey, give me some of that product.
No, same...
Spider-Man.
Like the end product, you know, the same serum.
Give me that product.
Okay.
What do you use in your hand?
I got this. Mind Goblin. That's so stupid.
Mind Goblin, these nuns.
Stupidest movie. Well, why don't we go into the, why don't we go into the ratings over here?
All right, the ratings. So we have
wait. Is there anything else you wanted to mention? Anything else we want to go over here?
I guess real quick, I'll just talk about what I thought about Toby and Andrew.
Yeah, and then and then you lead that right into the suit. Let's talk about that final suit, and then we'll go over to the reviews.
Okay, so Andrew, yes, he a great actor, one of my favorite actors as well. So I think his performance was obviously great. I don't really have much to add on to what you said. Toby, he was very reserved in this one. Like, I kind of almost forgot he was there sometimes. But I think his goal for the role was just to not stand out. Like, he's probably just like a really tired, older Spider-Man that's just kind of like, I'll help out and do whatever. But like, what?
Wouldn't you say his Peter Parker in his movies were also that way though? Like, quiet and reserved? And he did yell.
He does do like a unique Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's like a nerdier, quieter Peter Parker, reserved. Yeah. No, so I think it was true to his character, but I agree with you. Andrew had the opportunity to steal it.
And it was interesting that we saw Toby and Andrew together a lot more than we saw Tom interacting with them. You know, like, did you know, like,
I like that.
Toby and Andrew were always talking more together, and like Tom was just off doing something.
Well, that's because they got there, like the two of them found each other prior to finding Tom, knowing they were the visitors coming to help this younger Spider-Man. Like, they were the mentors trying to get him not to do what they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of moments where, especially in that final fight scene, when they both noticed Goblin fighting Tom alone.
Yeah.
I think that... Oh, my dog's getting yelled at. That's like a moment where, they look at each other and they're like, well, what do we do? We don't want him to make this mistake, But I like that because it's also, I still see Andrew's Spider-Man as the one who took Toby's place. So seeing them interact is kind of what I want more. Like, I'd rather have them interact than just, like, leave Tom alone.
Okay, and then the suit.
Yeah.
Can you pull up a photo of it?
Sure. Let's go. Let's get that.
Pull up a photo.
There's probably a screaming angry dad in the back of our podcast now. That's okay.
I can't hear him. Anyway,
okay,
so.
That's good.
Now you're just pointing it out.
He's angry. He's angry. Okay, this isn't really a clear shot, but I think it's the best I can do under these circumstances, buddy. So, you're gonna have to work with me on this.
I wish we could get like a side by side of all three of them, but
I know. Well, there is the promo I can pull up of their suits.
But is it the new one?
Oh, the new one? No.
I want it to be the new one.
Where's the frickin'... There you go. And... Here you go. That's the shot of the suit.
Right, I'm just waiting for it to come up on the...
I like it. It's so clean, you know?
Oh.
And the shimmering,
It's
like
just...
how shiny the blue sections are, you know?
But that's just like... I think the main problem was like we look at Andrew and Toby and we're like, that's the Spider-Mans, like we
Spider-Mans.
And then Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like, okay, like he's like an Avenger Spider-Man, whatever. Like we didn't really connect with him on the level that we connected with Toby and Andrew.
And I feel like that's what
now,
I like is this movie got us that connection we finally needed, you know?
But now with this suit, it's like now we can finally like that's the classic Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing, like, weird or, like, he doesn't have any robotic suits or anything.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I still think, personally, that, like, Andrew Garfield's suit from the second is my favorite because that's the most comic book accurate to the Amazing Spider-Man. Like, well, you know what? Here, I'll show this on stream. I don't know if it's going to show up on, if you'll be able to see it, but I have this comic book that I've had for... long time on my wall. I don't even know what year it is. I have to take it out, but I don't want to take it out.
1936.
This is okay. Yeah, it's like the classic suit. You know, I mean, he's upside down. I could show the comic upside down. You'll be able to see him better.
So the classic suit is what? Just bigger eyes.
Well, this is Web of Spider-Man. So I mean, don't forget in the comic book world, there's like. I don't know, like, you look at Batman, there's, like, 10 different Batman comics being written at once and releasing every week, you know, by different writers and artists, so...
Yeah.
There's not, like... There is, like, a prime, but... Like, Ultimate Spider-Man was my favorite, which is the Ultimate Universe, which ran from 2000s, early 2000s to, like, 2012, was, like, Ultimate Universe, and that's what the universe Miles Morales is from. And then he got transported to the main one by accident. So there's so many different versions. There's really no correct one. It's, you know, but like Andrew's is very reminiscent of like this, like very cartoony but darker comic book look.
Yeah.
And I like Tom Holland's suit a lot because it's just what I love is I see
this new one.
Yeah, I love that you see the inspirations from the other two Spider-Men, you know, and that he's and that's really cool. It's just Tom Holland as a Peter Parker. I just, you know, sometimes I struggle with it. But
well, I mean, even Andrew and Toby said that they're sort of he's a good mix of the two.
Yeah,
like he plays them both decently well. And I agree with that. I like Tom Holland as an actor. I think he's really good.
He's a really good actor, but sometimes he's just not Peter Parker enough for me.
He's like he could be like too chiseled sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not really his intent. Like, I mean, he's just a good-looking guy. Yeah, at the end of the day.
Hey, what's he gonna do? It's not his fault. Like, I'm handsome. I can't help it. like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh my god! But yeah, this new suit.
Yeah, it's clean. It's really clean.
It's really good.
I'm happy we're going to be getting just like... That was my big thing at the end of the movie. The reason I was so happy was like no more hand-holding, no more like Tony Stark toys. This is like I have a police scanner. I have a small apartment I can barely afford. I'm in the middle of New York. My suit is made myself with the sewing machine. It's just, you know, it's...
Yeah.
It's how it should have started. But we're finally here.
He should have, it really should have been.
I think it's because people so badly wanted MCU Spider-Man, and I feel like a lot of people now are like, all right, let him be on his own again.
Yeah.
They just wanted that payoff of like
It's a good progression.
Yeah, like he realized
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
Let's
it's
hop
what
into
we
the ratings.
do.
Let's hop into the ratings because
right.
this is the craziest.
Well, where are we starting?
Go to IMDb.
Okay. Spider-Man's.
This is a really interesting graph.
All right, we're gonna go to. Whoa. See, that is so biased. There's no way.
We've never seen a graph.
Nothing like this. Never.
With literally, basically 50% as a 10.
I don't believe that. I love it, but no, it's not that good. There's issues.
Well, what do you think about the overall of the 8.8?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like, I'm not saying, I don't want to say what I'm going to give it yet, but 50% of people giving this a 10 out of 10, that is so much, that is 20 years of nostalgia, you know, because they're like, don't get me wrong, this movie's amazing, but if you give it a 10 out of 10, you are ignoring a lot of, like, little issues that we just mentioned in this podcast, like, reasons for the villains, CGI faults, you know.
I really want to know what the 1.9% of people that gave it a 1 are thinking.
I saw a lot of articles saying that this was, like, what was it? Overly mediocre.
Someone just said, I did not like it. What is wrong with people? A bad direction. Watch a fan-made video instead. Damn. I didn't think it was that bad.
No, I mean, it does have a weird direction, though, in terms of, like, where the story goes. But I don't think that's, you know, in a bad way. It's nice to see something different when it comes to Marvel, you know?
I wonder. Interesting.
Now, let me ask you a little side question, not about Spider-Man. I'm just curious. What's your favorite Marvel origin movie? Like, solo character origin movie? I'm going to guess it's Doctor Strange.
It's Doctor Strange. Yeah, it's Doctor Strange. Before Doctor Strange came out, I don't think I really had one.
See, for me, it would be Iron Man and Doctor Strange.
None of the movies really.
Even Iron Man?
It's weird. It's weird. Like, none of the movies really spoke out to me, like, as much as Doctor Strange did.
Not even Iron Man.
No. Not even
okay.
Iron Man.
Yeah, I would say, even though Iron Man's my favorite Marvel character, and you know, well, one of them, and I loved his movies. All three of them I like a lot. Doctor Strange had the best Marvel origin movie. Like, I saw that in theaters. Three times. Like,
yeah, he definitely has the best. Like,
anytime someone was like, "I haven't seen that yet," I'm like, "Come on, let's go. Come on."
I mean, if you want to consider, like, growing up when I was young, Hulk was my favorite.
Which Hulk? Like, Marvel, like MCU Hulk?
I don't think I grew up with Banner. I grew up with what's his face? The one that did Incredible Hulk.
Wait,
but the Hulk movie that they considered to be the origin Hulk story before
with
Mark Ruffalo came in.
It's funny because a lot of my friends agree with me that the way Hulk looked in his first movie, he looked better, and the actor who played him was better than Mark Ruffalo in terms of portraying that character. It's funny.
Growing up, that was my favorite.
Yeah, that movie. I love that movie too.
Even though it's not necessarily Marvel though. It's not.
Yeah, Tony Stark's in that movie.
I don't know. Well, I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, Tony Stark is in that movie, and he's at the end of it, building a team. You know, like the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was mad they changed the casting because I liked him a lot. All right, so
I like Mark Ruffalo too.
I just don't think he's as gritty and as serious as I wanted him to be. Like, I like the look of everything better in that first one. I think Mark Ruffalo is like good, but sometimes they waste I feel like they waste him because he's a really good actor, and then his character's like, oh, what's going on? Oh God. You know, like, and like, I can't become Hulk. Like, it's just they can. So sometimes in Marvel, I feel like a character has so much potential, but then they get stuck serving a plot purpose.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
but Mark Ruffalo also hasn't gotten an origin story, so we don't really truly know how he would play.
No, his origin movie is that Hulk movie.
I know, but I'm saying like as him as Bruce Banner going through that whole process.
Oh,
We don't know how he would truly take the role on. We only know how he would take the role on as a part of a team. Like we never just saw him like go through that stuff.
yeah. If you play the
that-
Avengers, game,
I
their
tried.
Bruce Banner is really good. The casting for that.
I just couldn't. I couldn't get through it. It was just. It was horrible to play.
Oh, really? I had so much fun playing that game.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, the story's really good in it. All right, so I think we're both agreeing that a lot of the ratings on IMDb is nostalgia based, from 50% out of 10, 50% 10 out of 10.
And the same thing with Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, your mind is gonna be blown when you see
Well,
the Rotten
are we
Tomatoes.
done with that? Well, let's see.
Well, I feel so for the rankings of this. I feel like we
Rankings? Are we? Are there leaves on the ground?
I feel like for the ratings of this, we aren't blown away that it's getting high ratings.
No, an 8 or a 9 is fair. I like the IMDb, except for this graph, which is a little crazy.
So I mean, I feel like there's not really too much to say on the rating portion of it, just because it's so expected, because it's such a big crossover. But look at the Rotten Tomatoes, because IMDb 8.8. Rotten Tomatoes is
98%. Yeah, and 93 certified fresh.
nine, almost literally a perfect score.
Yep.
But the first review I see is 19 minutes ago. Someone said boring, fell asleep during the movie.
First half, maybe. Crossover comfort food with a redemption twist.
Damn. It's interesting people's takes on this movie. Because for us, we're like, wow, this movie was amazing. Like, there's so many crossover. And, like, I think people, the people that are rating this really low sort of did not care for that fact. You know, like, they just...
There's a lot of things in this movie that are forgivable. If you're a big Toby and Andrew fan, you're happy to see this crossover. If you couldn't care less about the crossovers, then you're going to be picking at everything else. So, you know, I think by no means this is a perfect movie. I just think that, you know, nostalgia is really, really juicing up these ratings, you know. Even though I love it, something's a little fishy here.
So I think these rating, like, again, Rotten Tomatoes, we always say their ratings are never as good as IMDb. I'd say these are a little out of proportion.
A reminder that screenplays are as crucial to superhero movies as casting and special effects.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
So basically a 9.3 certified fresh and a 9.8. I'm just gonna hop into what I would rate this.
You know what?
Because I'm getting very hungry.
I would like these movies a lot better if Ned and MJ weren't such big parts, because like I don't know if you noticed, but I think there was definitely less Ned this movie, because in Far From Home I found him really annoying.
Yeah.
Like, so like I'm here for Peter Parker, okay? like
yeah, he was definitely, but I mean, you could tell he lost weight. So I mean, the talk of the town is that he's gonna become Hobgoblin.
I don't know.
You could tell he lost a lot of weight. And he's preparing for something. Either it's another movie role, or it
could just be him trying to lose weight. Because how much?
No.
How much?
He's preparing for a new role.
Well, dude, how much harassment do you think he gets as a celebrity? You know,
well, he's actually bald.
Yeah.
He's bald he's bald in real life.
No, I meant because of his weight. It's probably one of the reasons he would lose weight is because, like, you know, I imagine, sadly, he gets a lot of harassment, from being in these movies like that.
Yeah.
And that probably inspired him to, like, change it up. But yeah, I did see recent photos of him, and he looks a lot better.
But people think he's preparing to become Hobgoblin, like he's getting in shape for that role.
Well, that's weird. The box office grossings are wrong. Oh, that's U.S. It got over $1 billion now. I know that.
Yeah, it made a ton of money.
Yeah, I can see him being Hobgoblin. I don't know how they do that, but I guess.
Well, people are saying that like it's alluded to because of the color of his jacket, him sort of like having these powers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would be funny after that conversation of like, do you have a best friend? Like, yeah. He died in my arms after he tried to kill me. It was tragic, honestly. Like, so.
Like, I mean, I feel like they're sort of alluding to a lot. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So my rating.
Yeah, let's go for it, man. This is it. It's time.
I feel like in the spur of the moment, when we were doing the award show, what did we get this one? Best ITM movie of the year, right?
We might have, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I love this. Like, you know me. I love Spider-Man. But out of all the movies I saw last year, I'm telling you, man, Dune blew my mind.
Dune, we're gonna have to like meet up and just watch again together.
Yeah, and talk about it on a live stream.
And
yeah,
talk about it
exactly. Because that movie was just so good, so stunning.
I forgot. Well, this movie, I mean, it was like one of the top two things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with IMDb. I think an 8.8 is actually really fair.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's really fair. Definitely hit home with the nostalgia. I liked seeing Toby and Andrew in the suits again, but it sort of falls flat in some of the story writing. Obviously, like MJ, she could have just put a little bit more excitement into being MJ, and just some of the things, like the CG work and stuff like that too. I think 8.8 is extremely fair. I'm just surprised by this graph that if 50% is 10 and 21.9 is a 9, and then only 14.9% is an 8, that the average is 8.8. Like, I mean, they break it down, obviously, like, what gets what. But I think, like, based on this, I think I would agree more with, like, a 9.1. But I think 8.8 is a good, like, that's what I would get this. I think that's fair. Let me actually pull up our...
I think that without Toby and Andrew, if it was just the villains in this movie, if it was just no Toby and Andrew, there's just not a lot that would have kept me. I would have given this movie a 7. They weren't in it.
Yeah.
I feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies rely too much on MCU existing stuff and not enough Peter Parker stuff. So, but I'm gonna have to give this an 8. I'm gonna give this an 8.
Whoa!
There's some really big problems.
I was not expecting that from you.
Well, you know what? I had to really think about it all today, and I was like, wow. If I let Marvel and Marvel Corporation and their greed and nostalgia tricks win, I'd be like, dude, Andrew and Garfield, kill it. Andrew and Garfield. Yes, Andrew and Garfield. Garfunkel. Andrew and Toby, kill it. It's just, I can't picture this being good without them in it. And you're probably saying, like, well, they're in it, so rate it. Like, rate it because they're in it.
Oh, I understand
what you mean. It's like, I don't know. You know what?
Are we keeping? Is this staying a favorite? I mean, we listed it as a favorite on our sheet, just purely based off of it being.
Put me down as an 8.5 actually.
You want the total to be 8.5?
No, mine. Put mine as an 8.5.
We don't do it individually. We just do our like a median.
Yeah, of our two ratings. Put mine as 8.5.
What do you mean? Like in our sheet, it's just an 8. Like, do you want our?
Well, what was yours?
8.5. Mine was an 8.8. I agree.
Are you okay with an 8.5?
Yeah. I mean, 8.5 lines it up with Dune, Revenant, Highwayman. Well, now in that perspective, would you be okay with it as an 8.5? Given that Revenant? Dune is an 8.5. Think long and hard about this.
Wait a minute. Okay, I was like, what's the Revenant? I was like, my brain blanked on that.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. I mean, they're just so different in genre. There's so much fan service that makes you want to rate this high, but can it really compete with like Dune? Yeah, put it there. 8.5. I'm comfortable with that because there is a lot of good stuff here that makes that fair, I think. Plus, it's okay because Spider-Man, like we already went past the review. We don't have to go back, and we already did the 2021 award show, so we can forget about this movie now.
We gave it ITM, so our movie of the year.
Okay.
Which at the time, like when we watched it and we were on like the whole high of it being like, oh, Toby and Andrew, like all that stuff. I agree. Like, I mean, we were fanboying about it. Yeah. I mean, we also gave ITM movie of the year to Tenet as well. So, like it wasn't a sole winner for that title.
Tenet was just that was something. That was something.
All right. So for the next movie. Okay, so you have me interested in Looper because I like the whole time aspect.
It's really good.
I really just want to watch Matrix Resurrection, that doesn't have to be something we review if you're not that interested in it. I could just do like a 60-second.
Where is it?
Review
Where would
on
I find it?
It's on HBO.
HBO Max or HBO Minimum? I don't know.
I think it's all. Oh God! I think it's
got him.
HBO Max.
Oh, okay. My feet are frozen. It's so cold.
There's no HBO minimum.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't seen any of the other Matrix besides the first one, which I hear is the only good one anyway.
Me neither.
So, but you've seen the first one.
I think I saw the second one maybe.
Wait, you haven't seen the first Matrix?
No, I have seen the first.
Okay, I was gonna say. We'll talk about it. I don't know. I think it's definitely something. I think what worries me is it's just like we need to make money and we haven't made one in a while. Let's redo everything and call it you know what I mean. Because I'm looking at reviews and stuff and they're not terrible. They're just I think it's worth giving a shot.
Yeah, I mean we can watch it separately and then come together, or we can watch it together. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So either, I mean, let's watch it on our own, and then let's see if we really want to, and then we'll do Looper next.
I really think we'll watch that together because I want to see your reaction to things. I think it's worth it. I think you're gonna like that a lot.
All right, so let's do that. I'm very hungry, so I really want to go eat.
You go do that. Sorry we got held up on this, but thank you everyone for watching. This has been Into the Movieverse Spider-Man No Way Home review.
Final rating 8.5.
Yeah, check this out. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Blow the minds.
Ready? There it is, right on the stream. Wow, technology.
Did you do it? Oh
It's
my
about to
god.
show up. Boom. 8.5. Boom.
All right.
So,
Loopers next.
yes, an older movie from 2012, but I think
All right.
anyone watching, if you're going to watch our episode on Looper, go watch it. It's really good. It's on Netflix. Worth the watch. We're going to have a fun time reviewing it. I'm telling you, man. You're going to like it a lot.
All right.
All right.
Until next time.
Until we meet again.